And, yeah, I think we should be. Okay.
I propose, Catherine, there's a new member, Michael. I think you may have seen an email about our
Yeah.
new member. I was gonna do introductions first, but we'll wait till Steve gets here and maybe after the items on the agenda, we can do introductions. Is that okay, Michael?
Sure.
That's all right. And we all have our names anyways. So, shall we, open the meeting with the, Pledge of Allegiance?
Yep.
And the flag's over there for some.
It moved.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Play ball.
Right, so JB. Yeah, let's get JB's item. Up here. What?
Just quickly take roll here,
Yes, that's true. Thank you for reminding.
or thing. Art Goswell,
Present.
Catherine Wilson. Michael Gavino,
Here.
Jason Sia,
Here.
and we have Isaac Tahara remotely. Isaac, you participated?
Hi there. I'm here. Yes.
Great,
He
thank you.
is.
And Chair Gardwick.
Here. Okay, thank you. All right, so we're now on, it's HPC 09-2024, right? 5961 Central Avenue. Okay, this is what we adjourned at the last meeting. Okay,
You need me to bring it up?
yeah. Oh, here's Steve, great. Right. Hi, Steve.
Is there a specific thing that you want me to put up or? Pardon?
If this is, 5961 Central Avenue is currently being used, there's apartments upstairs. There's a retailer store to the right side and then the left. There's currently being used as a car wash. And what our client is going to do, because that.
This Jeepers?
Yes. We're gonna develop that to longer term. There's gonna be sufficient units. And then in the back, we're gonna put it up. There's gonna be an area for like homework, for study. So we plan to do, the idea is to get most of the people that are gonna be walking and they may have children or people that are going to provide enough entertainment for them to be there with the children or in the outside, in the exterior, there was a big opening where this line would be into the car lot was. We're replacing that with that 2 6-foot doors, 3-foot doors in charge. With the sunlights, and the trim is gonna be all white to match the existing, now if you go to the picture, you have separate side. This separate. If you see that our intention is to match the framework that's in the window, the framework for the same requirements. Then because of the aluminum glass, the actual.
Right.
I assume white to match.
Actually, that is white, sort of the picture. If you zoom in, because over by white, it's the shadow.
Mhm.
But the idea is not much consistent framework.
Right.
I think it all looks good, except it looks like the entrance to the garage is really sloped. Are you gonna be able to flatten that up? Make a door,
Yes,
a pedestrian door? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You go to the proposed elevation, I guess, it may
Yeah.
indicate that, right?
Yeah.
JB? Well, yeah. It's a little,
He's gonna,
it depends where you take the cut, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, design wise, I think no objection.
No,
Code wise, you make those grades work. For three.
good luck.
yeah, it's outside of our
Yeah,
purview.
it's outside of the 30.
Okay,
Where does all the ventilation for the machines go?
You're gonna be going to the side, that's an open part.
Is that the
why don't
one,
you show them?
the
on
one
plan?
photo? Was that it on the left? Go to the photo on the left, right? Or no, that's the firehouse next.
Yeah.
You have a photo on that side?
Wasn't this the, this is what's between.
Yes. Yeah. You would be benching. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
How far would the vents project? I mean,
And then we'll have to go up vertically in position, well, 6 inches, and they have to be 3 feet away from every opening.
so how many will there be? One for each drive? Or-
No, there's they group into it, I'm not sure that's always gonna be, but there's no.
That driveway is part of the lot or?
Okay,
So will those be painted white to match the side of the building?
Yes.
Okay, they won't just be unfinished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
can
like
make that.
Yeah, okay.
So they're just gonna project out and not go up above the parapet or anything like that, or?
No.
Just straight up.
It'd be hard to take them to the units.
all right. Any other questions? The board? Do I hear a motion for a vote? Anybody wanna propose a motion for a vote?
I propose a motion to vote.
Okay, second. Second by Steve. All in favor? I think it's unanimous. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, JB. All right,
Wish them the best of luck.
sign the C of A as soon as I get it. And now, we should go to Stillport.
Yay.
Now is, Stuart is, so Jason stay here or he makes a presentation?
Except to make this presentation.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So,
All right. Do I have to officially recuse myself?
No, you are recused.
Thank you. Do I have to go up there? I can
make a
stand right here.
presentation from here. That's what
Fantastic.
Stuart said.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we actually, over the course of a few years, our neighbors have started cutting down some of the trees as they were dying, and so we've gotten good solar vantage points. And so Momentum Solar approached us for putting solar on the house, and so they came and looked and took some photos and came back with a proposal. We thought they were gonna put them on the main house. They're not. They're actually gonna go on the garage, which is right there. And so that side faces west and or northwest, I should say. And if you go to actually the first photo, you can sort of see it in the back. There you go. So it's going to be actually on that slope there.
You don't see it from the street.
And you don't see it from the street.
Okay. Is
So I
there a
guess-
proposed plan of the?
Yeah, so there is a proposed plan. So this is actually from the engineer. The structure is a little, it's 2x6, 24 on center, so they're actually proposing to reinforce the roof structure. So that's what that is. I guess scroll down. Just calculations. There should be a plan of the panels. There you go, a little bit further. So if you scroll up a little bit. The other way. My meter is actually on the house itself further up, if you scroll up a little bit. So that's what we're proposing, so that's where the existing service comes in, they're going to replace the meter with Con Ed. And they're gonna connect to the panels over in that corner as well. and they're gonna put panels. I believe we got 12. Yeah, so they got 10 on the one slope and they're gonna do 2 on the other slope.
And are they the panels that are just black, no contrasting metal?
Yeah,
trim?
so that was the first question I asked, because we actually had the discussion previously at the last time someone came around with a solar panel. And so he
Great.
pulled out it's one of the pamphlets, one of the documents. They do show some of the gear on the left-hand side of the garage there, as you're looking down in a mass going across the house. They had already submitted this to the town, and I asked them, I'm not doing that, and they said, that's fine, they're actually gonna trench it.
Right.
On the side.
Great, that's perfect.
They said, yeah, that's no problem, so they'll trench it over to the house and then get into the basement and get over to the panel.
That's a nicer way.
Yeah, just, yeah.
So
All the
no
stuff that
overhead.
falls from the trees that are around, I was like, that's gonna get taken out in a heartbeat. And I don't want some silly wires strung across my backyard like that. So some typical details, mounting. And more of the clips, yada, yada. And then those are the panels,
So it looks like, yeah.
Yep.
Just all black.
all black, no white grids.
Does anyone have any questions? Would someone like to make a motion for a vote
I make a motion to vote.
and second? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right, so Jason,
Awesome,
terrific.
Welcome back.
thanks.
Yes, welcome back.
Long time.
I unrecuse myself.
All right, so now we have the retaining wall. Was someone here to present it?
Folks, I'm gonna bring you over as a panelist, so. Great, good evening. If you could turn on your camera and unmute for us, your front center.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Gardenia Cardenas. This is my father, Jorge Cardenas. We are the owners of 107 to 113 Main Street. And we have a retaining wall on the rear of our property that is beginning to fail. And so we are, so this is I just noticed that the photo that I sent of the retaining wall, which is on the left side, I don't see it up there. Oh, there it is. Yes, that one. So right below the fence, there's a small retaining wall. And basically that's where it is, that's where it needs to be repaired there on that corner. As well as the cliff side is also collapsing. So that's also going to be excavated. And the stone that is going to be removed from the bedrock is going to be used to repair the wall. The geotech engineer that is working with us has stated that the stone is Manhattan schist. That's it there.
Thank
Where exactly is this property?
This is 107 through 113 Main Street, but the wall is on Central Avenue.
Okay.
Property next to Steamer Firehouse.
Yes.
Oh, can you just go to the property plan? Just off, it's off to the right. Map there, okay. So it's near our new laundromat.
Yes.
Okay,
I see, it's talking about it's from Main Street, so this is, okay, now I see. Okay.
Yeah.
and it's gonna be certainly an improvement over what we see now. I'm sorry your retaining wall's collapsing, but it's great to see it's gonna get rebuilt.
Yeah,
Right.
real stone, the local stone, that's great.
I really don't have any question. I mean, it is what it is. It's a retaining wall. It needs to get rebuilt. I think I heard time is of the essence. Did I read that in a document?
Yes, that's correct.
So we obviously don't want to have a piece of property with a potentially dangerous situation, anything falling down.
Like, take a look at the slope remediation plan.
Okay,
What is that? Okay. All right, so it's just gonna go across the entire back of that property.
No, so it's just zone A there. But we
Okay.
are also gonna be working on the other zones. It just doesn't need a retaining wall. That's just gonna be excavated to remove the loose rock.
Oh, okay.
okay. Are there any other questions? All right, do I hear a motion to put it for a vote? Steve, second. Anyone? Catherine, thank you. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Folks, just one reminder. No work until the building permit is issued. I hope to have the certificate of appropriateness done tomorrow, and I will ship it out, and then you'll be able to get your permit, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the end of our applications. So I'd like to now just introduce Michael. And then after introductions, Stuart, I think that you and I spoke about a matter that came before the board that came before the Village of Effective Board. I'll leave it to Stuart to just give you a few minutes of overview. Anyways, Michael, welcome. Isaac Tejera, it's on the screen. And Steve Casey, Catherine, Mark, and Jason. And so, you know me, we've had lunch together and chatted, so there's not much I think I need to say about your, to introduce myself. Perhaps if you could just say a few words about your background and how long you've been in Ossining, and then the others will do the same.
Sure.
So we can get to know each other.
So I've lived in Ossining for a little over 10 years. During the pandemic, I kind of fell in love with Ossining. It was, I was commuting back and forth to the city every day and really didn't spend much time here. And through that time, I started my own architectural practice based in Ossining. We've really flourished. I'm really excited about what my small little practice has accomplished in a short amount of time. My wife also left her job in the city and now works in the Ossining School District. And I'm just excited to be part of sort of shaping this community. It's, I love being here. I love the community and I'm excited to be on this
And
board.
you have a son in the school
I do,
district too,
yeah,
right?
10-year-olds.
Okay, so Isaac, I see on the screen, you want to just recap your long life.
You mean my short life, right?
Yeah, well, your decades of experience. No, just
Well,
a few words. You just, so because you haven't met Michael.
Yeah, Michael, nice meeting you. My name is Isaac. I'm also Ossining resident. I've been living in Ossining for around 15 years already, and I went to AMD middle school, high school, and I'm an architectural designer and urban designer as well. And I work at Con Patterson Fox. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
And Steve?
Hi, I've been in Ossining now 20 years. City. I've been on this committee for 5.5 years. I have one of the three sisters. It's on Alice Place. You may have seen it. So I have a great interest in historical preservation. So I happened to join this committee 5 years ago. Just to try to preserve the architectural fabric of it.
All right, Catherine?
Hi, I really
Oh, wow.
like.
Yep.
Yeah, so my daughter. Anyway, I recognize. But I live in Alpena, we moved here 10 years ago. Completely, and, my background's in architecture. I've been working since I moved here, and it's great. I joined totally with even. It's really nice. Plans. So, conversation.
From the dams.
That's all you need to know.
I need to, before either of us from the board, I joined about a year ago. I'm also an architect. I work in the city. And I've been on the board, what, year and a half, and,
Yep.
I have a mid-century modern, so, design is very important to me. Also preserving integrity, the authenticity of things. So, being on the board is great to help preserve and encourage, that kind of preservation.
Finally, Jason.
Jason Sia, almost 10 years here in Austin now, moved up from Yonkers and the river towns, just came a little bit north. Enjoy the West Coast over on this side, so I actually live in Sparta, down, got one of the historic houses on Still Court. Built 1890s, wife is also an architect, so we're in the middle of sort of quasi renovating and finishing that up. We're actually restoring all the original windows in the house, so I've actually gotten quite good at doing that lately. And so we've got a son in the school district as well. He's just finished 11th grade, soon to be 12th grader next year. So been on the board about 6 months.
Right, and if I could just, is it easy, Maddie, to show the project that Michael was involved with at Main and Spring? Is that an easy picture to call up? I think it'd be, if you don't mind, Michael, I'd like to call it
No,
up.
thank you.
And it, it's predicated, I don't mean to speak for you, but it's predicated on first doing the parking, which we're still. Once
Yeah,
that's done,
let's-
your job will take over.
I watched that public info session that happened this week.
Even though it's outside our district, I just think it was a very impressive project, particularly given, our historical bent on the work we do. How large is the building? Or more or less, it's,
It's 100 units and ground floor commercial space. Building kind of zigzags back and forth between Main Street and Spring.
is it an easier thing to maybe go on your website to get a picture of it?
Yes,
On architecture?
yeah,
Yeah, maybe you might
gotta
mention
spell
how
it,
your,
Michael, I'm sorry.
your,
ARK
Uh-huh.
ETEK CHER.
yeah, that's the name of its firm, and it's like one of the first projects you see, right, on the website.
I think scroll down. Not on the map.
Yeah,
There
there
it
it
is.
is on the, yeah, so, that's
Hold
just,
on, we could share the screen. So folks
oh, yeah, sure.
Want to subject them to.
All right. So you might orient us, if you don't mind, in this view, although I think now with the post office in view.
Yeah.
If there's anything you wanted to say about the project. Oh, that's great too. We got a bird's eye view of it.
So, we wanted to be, my personal belief about kind of historic preservation, especially when it comes to new construction, is that you sort of honor the past without replicating it. So, the intent when we dive into this was like some things and design that we did in order to win the project, and then, interview with the Board of Trustees and be able to start the conversations with the community. Looking forward to kind of digging into the details a bit more, but the goal of the design was to be
Did you
inspired
go up
by,
to the main picture? Thank you.
by like the proportions and rhythm of Main Street, but not try to replicate the dentals and filigree, all that kind of stuff that you see on the other side. So, and then the pass through to the post office, the arch was inspired by the double arches in Ossining. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think we probably won't get into working on it until next summer, from what I hear.
Oh,
So we're a little ways away.
yeah.
Want to make sure that the parking garage is settled and
Are
underway.
they condos or rentals?
At the moment, rentals.
Okay,
Um,
well anyways, I think it speaks for itself. It'd be a very nice
So this-
addition.
So this goes on top of the parking lots that's there right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just to sort of orient folks, this is if you're standing at the base of Maple Place, and then this is Spring Street cutting. through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's currently where the entrance to the parking lot is now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, looking towards the post office.
Week is right.
Yeah.
Sing Sing Kill is to the
Farmer
left.
Market.
yeah, if you scroll down, you can. There's a view from. So this needs some work still, but
This is very early, very early scheme.
Is there a bit of a proposal to block off part of the end of Spring Street there?
So the initial RFP talked potentially about, the original RFP. Kind of gave us the opportunity to design Market Square and Spring on Main, and I think some of the early ideas for the site. Had program on both sites, and we thought it be best to try to preserve Market Square as a park, and I think. There's gonna
Yeah.
be future conversations with the developer about contributing money and new resources to renovating Market Square. But one of the ideas that we had was these sort of retractable valves that could shut off a part of Spring Street for when they do the farmers market. So you'd still be able to get around either through that new arch that we created, but the idea was like to provide more farmers market space. So that's what you're seeing in rendering, and that was just an idea. Whether that happens or not, who knows, but we thought it was interesting, and that way we could turn over more of Market Square to green space. It looks very parking lot-ish in this rendering to me, but the goal is to still allow for the farmers market to happen and then turn Market Square into more of a park.
Okay,
Also to relocate a new Christmas tree, which my son was very concerned about. He wanted to know what was happening to Christmas tree.
all right, well, thank you. We're very excited. I was very excited. when we
Love
saw
the
it.
project. It's so beautiful. Congrats.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, and so moving on, Stuart, maybe perhaps wouldn't mind just recapping what we talked about 2 days ago.
Sure, we got a letter from State Historic Preservation. Trying to like radio. There actually is an annual audit, which they hadn't sent us the forms for 4 years. So they wanted, we are a certified local government, which means that we are approved by historic preservation as an HPC. What that does, that means they looked at our law, they looked at what we do. It does entitle us to certain grant funding as an HPC, which we can do. It entitles us to training from them, which we can get. And so there's a lot of pluses to that. What we have to submit to them were, over the past 4 years, 2 certificates of appropriateness for each year, for each of the 4 years, 2 sets of minutes. They wanted resumes for all of the members on the board. They wanted our most recent historic guidelines, architectural guidelines. They asked about recent surveys. We have not done a recent survey of historic sites, and that's probably something that we probably should do. Because my guess, because they're now reviewing it, I think I sent the responses to them about 5 or 6 emails, is that they will go through it and they'll let us know if there are any questions. They were very happy to get the response. So it's just a matter of seeing. Basically, this keeps us in good graces with the state. If for some reason we were not to respond, they could essentially cancel us as being a CLG, which could have impacts, but I think, again, they're very pleased, particularly with the code section that we have to deal with historic preservation. That is something that they review. They wanted to see that. They wanted to know if it had been recently amended. It has not been, but it's always something that can be amended. They do want to, they were very interested in training, particularly both in terms of the annual training that they require and the 4 hours of training that the village requires. I just gave them a breakdown of the number of hours, but that's something we'll be talking about as we go forward in terms of doing that. But as I said, they do offer training. I know that when Adam Markovich was chair, I think we had someone from the state actually come down and actually provide training. So we can do that, as I said, which is beneficial. But it was more just to, as I said, what they used to do is they actually used to physically come down and go through all the documents, but now it's a lot easier. And also, they don't want to travel as much, so they can come down, we can just provide them essentially. They just drop, almost everything that they needed. So they see the COAs, they got the minutes, and they have guidelines. They wanted maps of the districts. They have the maps of the districts. They wanted the list of historic properties that are not within the districts, and that, as I said, they wanted the guidelines. They have the guidelines. So they got a lot of information. As I said, it's generally, there is something they want every year. And I said, well, this is what we did in 2023. Do you need it for the preceding 3 years? They haven't gotten back yet, so I guess they're still going to provide it to them. But the quadrennial review essentially gave them really everything they needed. And again, if there's any blips, they'll let us know, and we'll just fill in the blanks. I think, as I said, training is probably the one thing they're going to look at, and just want to make us maybe tighten it up. But we did have all the necessary COAs to give them. We gave them all the minutes that they needed. So the only thing that I was unable to give them was a recent survey. And that may be something that, this committee wants to look at over, the next few months, year, or whatever. I don't think they're going to say that we have to do it tomorrow. But again, it's something that they look
Stuart,
at.
may I ask, when you say that, I mean, we have the historic structure guide. So they're asking, and we've made changes to it as we see the properties have changed.
In terms of survey of actual buildings, are there other places that you would want to? Now, they were made aware that we tried to do Ellis Place, that did not work. We tried to do the Warden's house, that did not go through. So they're aware of that, and they know that. But I think they're just looking. It may well be that what we gave them is sufficient.
Okay,
I basically said to them, if there's something that you need, let us know. I was not completely sure about the survey, so I went over it. If you have any interest in knowing more about what CLGs are, you go to or if you go to the park site, you basically put in local government or certified local government. There's a whole site, there's a whole page there. It also deals with training, it deals with tax incentives, it deals with a lot of things that are there that you can, pull off of that particular page. But that was at the woman who sent it to the woman, Frances Stern. She's basically the coordinator for all the CLGs. She works out of the office up outside of Albany, and that's basically what we got.
yeah, just to follow up, I have a copy of the document that Stuart's talking about. If anybody wants to have it, I guess I could send it to you, or Stuart could send it to you, but parks.newyork.gov.shippo. Anyways, New York State Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation.
You mentioned that there was grant money potentially available. What can that be used for?
It's primarily related to training. But if you go there, I looked at it briefly, but if you go, they do list it. What it explained is that the state gets a certain amount of money from the federal government for historic preservation. A percentage of that is set aside for the CLGs, like ours. So it's not like a formal grant application like Maddie is so familiar with. It's basically a letter indicating what you might want to use money for. As far as I know, we've never actually asked that. But there are funds because they basically take a percentage of what the feds give them for the CLGs. There are, I think, about maybe 25 to 30 CLGs statewide. I mean, there are a lot more HBCs, but there aren't many that actually have been certified. If you go on their website, you actually have the full list of all the CLGs. The advantage of that is CLG, Certified Local Government. Oh, see, yeah, my apologies. If you go there and you look, the advantage of that is you can sometimes then go to those municipalities and see what their statutes say. Or what they- So, so it's there, but so there is grant money. It didn't exactly say like, things like big things like Market Square, things like that, but it does go a lot towards training, and public engagement and things like that. So, you know, we can all look at that page, and there is, as I say, drop down specifically for grants that they have. So it's something that, you know, we could certainly do, and if you think it's worthwhile, we can certainly apply for it.
Yeah, perhaps the next meeting, is there some way to, next time we meet?
What I'll do is I'll send a link to everybody. And you can
Good.
just look at it and you can think of some ideas, and we can certainly put something together and send it to the folks there. And
So let's have it as an agenda item, depending on whether we have a lot of that. That would be very useful. Steve, I don't know if you wanted to chat about your research.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that, because, you know, I look at the agenda, and sometimes we put 2 items, and I'm able to take it out.
Right.
Other 2 items, 5 items that we 15 minutes. What I think ought to do is I put together a PowerPoint slide on the New York State site. I had done this a few years ago, interestingly enough, for training residents. Now, I just want to get into there's very good information about, you know, qualified for historic preservation, and then the entire process of having something designated a local landmark, a state landmark, and then a federal landmark, and what all of that means, and what tax credits you can get from the state of New York if it's so designated. Like very interesting presentation on, you know, there's one example of a house, for example, that said, even though you look at it and you may not think this is worth much anymore because of things that have been done to it, because of the lines and because of this would qualify for historic designation. Whereas this, it's been so badly damaged, it would not. So interesting things like that, and a number of examples. So what I did was it's sort of a summary or an encapsulation of this. So I could present it here.
How long do you think you'd like to spend on that? Is it the kind of thing we can do it as the agendas present themselves? Because obviously the first priority is the applicants. But if we had a time when maybe just one simple job,
That's what I.
Would that
what
be
I
enough
could
time
do
for you?
is Send it around, and then we could, at a meeting, yeah, because sometimes it's 10 minutes what we need to do.
right?
And spend the rest of the time just walking through that, would be interested in hearing.
I
Sort of posting, or even for our own benefit, what the issue is.
I think it's a fabulous idea, and I really appreciate that you've offered. So, yeah, please send it around, and at the very least, the next meeting, hopefully we'll have a chance to review it, and if nothing else, just tell you any questions we had, and then
Yeah.
take it from there.
What we're gonna do is, you know, the next meeting is a full agenda, just postpone it to the next. one.
Yes, exactly right.
Great.
Okay, is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up?
Or no August meeting.
No August meeting, that's right. The meeting is the first Monday in
Maybe
September.
reports take a month.
What is the first Monday in September? Do you have the date handy?
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just asking because that. So is our next meeting the 9th?
That it right there?
September 9th.
Okay, September 9th, great.
I will be out that day, guys. I'm traveling I'm getting married in Istanbul, and I'll be
Right.
traveling.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I know, I think we should make him come in.
To a
Oh, you
fabulous
guys-
girl too.
And we'll do it from Istanbul.
Fabulous woman.
And also chair the architectural design standards, the planning board got a chance to weigh in on.
Oh, they
at the
did?
Last meeting, and they said full steam ahead.
Oh, so that's a wonderful thing to hear. Now, do we have to do anything more, or do you just change it?
Stuart and I are gonna bring it to the.
I think we'll
Board of
just bring it to the
Trustees.
board of trustees to make them aware,
Good.
and then it will just be.
Okay, great. Well, that's good progress. Thank you. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I get to do that.
Fantastic.